Wow, stories.
Am I the idiot for not planning out an entire wedding weekend for my guests? I, 26, and my now husband, 30, chose to have a destination mountain wedding between the holidays in a small town, about 10-hour drive from where most of us live. From the beginning of planning, we decided that we didn't want much help paying for or planning the wedding. We wanted this day to be for us. Fast forward to the trip, my mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, as well as my best friend and her boyfriend, and my husband and myself all arrived early in the week and were staying till Monday. Most guests, including my parents and sister, were staying from Friday, Sunday. I was in a group chat with my family, and they had made a plan to go to a town about 30 minutes away for dinner. I was a bit confused by the fact that there was a restaurant on site, and they had just been driving all day. Granted, that restaurant is hard to get into because it was around the holidays and you need a reservation. Also, if you make a reservation but don't show up, it costs you $25/person and you can only reserve up to 10 spots under your name. So I bought a bunch of pizza and had it hot and ready in the lobby for people to eat once they arrived. My in-laws had a reservation at that restaurant for 7:30 p.m. that Friday night that was supposed to be for my husband's family. But a lot of them ended up getting sick and canceling, so they had a lot of extra seats to fill. So they offered the spots to the people who had come early in the week, myself and husband, plus my parents, who said no. We showed up at the restaurant and my family, including my mom, was already there giving me the stink eye because there was a whole section for my in-laws' reservation. But my family, like 20 people, were sitting by the bar, which was in the same room. I went over to them and they gave me the cold shoulder. My best friend stood up to give a toast and none of them turned around to even acknowledge it. I went outside very upset and my family ended up leaving to go to the Chinese restaurant down the road. Apparently they were talking poop about me, saying they wish they hadn't come because I planned the weekend poorly and they expect better treatment. My birthday was a few days ago and this all came out with them saying I looked bad for not having seats for them. Two things to note. I had pizza for them in the lobby and they said they were going to some German restaurant. Edit to include information from comments. I was not invited to my family's dinner and my parents elected not to attend as well. My family planned the dinner weeks in advance and they chose to change plans the day they arrived. Typically in my family, we all vacation in an area and independently, or in small groups, find and plan things to do. We stayed in the lobby with the pizza until all of the guests arrived at the hotel and then went to the dinner reservations with my husband's family. My husband's family offered to book additional reservation space at the restaurant on site, but given everyone was showing up in about a 5-hour window and my family made other plans already, we didn't do it. Edit 2. My family communicated what they were doing in the town the day before the wedding when I had seen them the week prior. They were aware of the plethora of restaurants on site and within 5 minutes down the road. No family vacations I have ever been on were organized. For example, each person has their own itinerary planned, and they seem insulted when you make plans for them. The restaurant 30 minutes away was chosen originally because it was on the Food Network, not because it was the closest option. My family had threatened not to go to the wedding 2 days before because there might be better things to do where they live. My husband and I were supposed to eat somewhere else. The only reason we went was to fill empty seats so that my in-laws would not be charged. We paid for the wedding ourselves. Our parents did not pay for anything except the photographer. We even paid for the rooms of the wedding party and immediate families. You're the idiot. This was poor wedding etiquette and inconsiderate. You had a destination wedding, so you should have had something for the guests that night. Cocktail party or even some sort of guide giving options, etc. But you left some pizza in a hotel lobby. That's honestly a little tacky. You're the idiot. You failed to plan or communicate. Your guests should not have to worry about food after driving 10 hours to get to your destination wedding venue. Sitting down to eat a nice meal with your in-laws while your family ate pizza in the lobby or sat at the bar was a real slap in the face to them. Would I be an idiot for kicking my sister out of my house she's renting? I own 2 houses that I normally rent out. I rent it out to make some extra money on the side and to keep up with expenses. I've been renting the house to my sister for around 3 years. She needed a place to stay and she paid. We had an agreement and signed a contract. I gave her a discount then what I would normally charge because of family, but now times have changed. I want to raise the price to help cover rising costs. I'm willing to work with her and work with how much she makes. The problem is she says she can't afford it. I'm trying to discuss something that can work for her. She keeps sticking with it because she can't afford it. If she can't afford it, I understand, and I'll work with her to do something because I don't want my sister homeless. However, just telling me she can't afford it isn't helping. I'm at the point of just getting ready to evict her. I have some expenses coming up in the next couple of years and I need to raise the price or work something out. But she's not willing to have a real discussion about it. Would I be the idiot for just evicting her? You're the idiot. You own 2 properties that you rent out, and I assume one you live in, and you're considering evicting your sister to make more money? Jeez. People's homes should not be an opportunity for others to make money. Landlords are the worst. You're the idiot. Because landlords are freaking leeches, and the fact that you are treating a human right like a commodity is morally disgusting as is. That you are denying your own family housing is abhorrent. Am I the idiot for not telling my boyfriend I own the house I live in? My boyfriend, 25 male and I, 26 female, recently decided to move in together. His lease had expired, and his roommates were looking to move out with their girlfriends. The rental scene where we live is crazy at the moment, and he couldn't find anything close to where he works that fit his budget. We've been together just over a year, so I decided to offer him to move into my place. It's only about a 20-minute commute for him to get to work, and my friend recently moved out to go and live with her parents again, so it was just me in the house. He agreed, and he moved in about 3 weeks ago. The issue began when he started to ask how much his half of the rent was. I responded and said rent wasn't an issue, and that it's just easier for me to continue with how it was before he moved in. He was taken back, but we agreed to split water, electricity, groceries, etc. 50/50ths. Last weekend I had some family over and my dad was asking me about interest rates and my mortgage. He overheard this conversation, and after my family left we had an argument. He was upset that I didn't tell him that I owned my home. He feels as if I lied to him and deceived him. He's upset because he feels like I betrayed his trust. I do see where he's coming from, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I was eventually going to tell him, I just didn't think I absolutely had to tell him at that moment. Most of my friends are telling me that I should have told him before he moved in, but a few of them firmly believe that it wasn't a huge deal. Ultimately, I think the reason is that I don't tell my boyfriend that I own the house we live in together, and telling him it's no different if we moved into a rental together. Edit. This was the only thing my man didn't know about me. Owning my home is a privilege I never thought I'd ever achieve, so when I tell people I feel uncomfortable because I don't want it to appear like I'm flexing. Finances were something that my parents always told me shouldn't be discussed. I don't know specifically how much he makes, and the same goes for him. Also, we are good. I've profusely apologized and admitted it was dumb to not be truthful and forthcoming, and because he's the greatest guy ever has forgiven me. You're the idiot. He seems like he wants to have a solid, respectful relationship with you. His asking, unprompted, how he could contribute to the rent was really cool of him, and that probably should have been the time to tell him the truth. Before he moved in would have been better. Privacy or not, actively hiding that you own the home he now lives in makes it seem like you don't trust him and/or think he'd take advantage of you if he knew. You're the idiot. You can't expect people to trust you if you mislead them about matters they consider to be important. The first time makes people wonder what other secrets you're keeping and what else you're misleading them about. Your boyfriend clearly communicated how he feels, lied to, deceived, and betrayed. If you want to fix this, you need to acknowledge that you messed up, not act like it's no big deal.